guys. I'm going to go over the questions that were on the EdPuzzle from Monday. The 3 questions that were type your answer in the box, they were really, really tough questions. So I did not grade those questions based on if you got them right or wrong. So I'm going to go over those 3 things with you right now, and also the 2 questions that were on Tuesday's assignment, the 2 word problems, because they were also pretty tricky. So what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to take out a sheet of paper, or if you have a dry erase board at home or something like that, I would like for you to work through these problems with me. Or you can pause the video and go get some things that you need if you need some time to gather your stuff. Just pause the video. Okay, so the first question in the EdPuzzle was 2 1/2 minus 1 1/4. And so for that, you need to find a common denominator. And in the EdPuzzle, it did give you the common denominator, which would be 4. So what I like to do is I like to say to myself, if I can pull my pen up here. All right, I like to say, can I take my lowest denominator? So can I take, or my smallest denominator, which is 2, and can I count by 2s? And will I say the other denominator? So in other words,
Pardon me, you guys. Ms. Waddy is requesting about 10 sets of headphones. If you have any you can loan her, if you would please label them with your name and loan them to her for tomorrow, and she'll make sure you get the right things back at the end of the day or first thing Thursday morning. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. So I like to take the lowest denominator and ask myself, if I count by 2s, am I going to say 4? And the answer to that is yes. That's because 4 is a multiple of 2. So that is going to be our common denominator. So I know that 2 is good, or my halves are going to need to be changed into fourths. Okay. So I'm going to change 1/2 into fourths. So how do I get from 2 to 4? By multiplication, and I say 2 times 2 is 4, and I need to do the same thing to the top. 1 times 2 is 2, and so therefore 2 1/2 is now going to be 2 2/4. And so now I'm ready to subtract. So I am taking 2/4 and I'm subtracting 1/4 from that, and that is going to leave me with 1/4, and then my whole numbers, 2 minus 1 is 1. So my answer for the first question is simply just 1 1/4. Now, if you converted these into improper fractions and then subtracted, you need to make sure that you are putting them back into mixed numbers. So for example, if I were to, let me add a page here. If I were to say 2 1/2 minus 1 1/4. Okay, so right now it's the same problem. So they have unlike denominators, but I need to make sure that they have like denominators. So I'm going to do the same thing. And 2 1/2 is equivalent to 2 2/4. So if I wanted to convert this into an improper fraction, I can do that. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 more. So you multiply your denominator times your whole number. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 more is 10. And that would give me 10/4. And then down here, I would do the same thing. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 more is 5. And when I subtract, I end up with 5/4. But I have to take 5/4 and turn that back into a mixed number. Okay. And so I know that 4 can go into 5 one whole time, and that would leave me with 1 left over, 1/4 left over. Okay. Let's go ahead to the next one. And if you need to pause at any time, go ahead and pause. This next one is 4 2/3 plus 2 1/2. And the common denominator is going to be 6. Okay. So how are we determining the common denominator? Well, a common denominator can always be found if you multiply your denominators. So if I multiply 2 times 3, I'm going to get 6. 6 is going to be a common denominator because it is a multiple of both 2 and 3. Okay, so I'm going to convert both of these fractions into sixths. And again, how do I get from 2 to 6 by way of multiplication? Well, 2 times 3 is 6, and so I need to do the same thing to the top. And if you're wondering why we do that, you're really just multiplying 1/2. Yellow is a bad choice. You're really just multiplying 1/2 times 3/3, and all 3/3 is 1 whole. And so anything multiplied by 1 is going to give you the same result, okay? So when we do that, we end up with 3/6, and those two things are equivalent fractions, okay? So that's why we multiply both the top and the bottom by the same number, because essentially we're just multiplying by 1 whole. All right, so 2/3 is how many sixths? So 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm going to do the same thing to the top, and 2 times 2 is 4. So 2/3 is equivalent to 4/6. So now I'm going to rewrite this over here. I have 4 and 4/6, and to that I am adding 2 and 3/6. I always add my fractional parts first. And so in this case, 4/6 plus 3/6 is going to give me 7/6. And at this point, I can convert that improper fraction into a mixed number, or I can write 6 and 7/6, which is what I have. And then I can go ahead and convert this improper fraction into a mixed number. And 7/6 is 1 whole and 1/6. So now I need to add that to the 6 whole. So now I'm adding 6 and 1 and 1/6. And so my answer for that second problem is 7 and 1/6. Okay. Let's move on to question number 3. And I know the girl in the video was moving very quickly. So again, if at any time you need to pause to kind of get your thoughts together, then please do so. So this next problem is 3 and 1/10 minus 1 and 4/5. So again, I need a common denominator. In the EdPuzzle, it did tell you the common denominator, which was 10. So if I look at my smaller number, which is 5, if I count by 5s, do I say 10? Yes, I do. So I know 10 is a multiple of 5. So I can go ahead and convert 4/5 into an equivalent fraction with 10 as my denominator. And 5 times what is 10? 5 times 2 is 10. So we are going to do the same exact thing to our numerator. And 4 times 2 is 8. So now I've got 3 and 1/10 minus 1 and 8/10. So in this case, I have an issue here. I have a I have a fraction on the top that is smaller than my fraction on the bottom. If I only have 1/10, I cannot take away 8/10 because I don't have enough tenths. So there are two options that you can do for this problem. I'm going to rewrite this over here. So what I can do, and I'm going to tell you a lot of the answers that I got. I got a lot of 2 and 7/10. We are not taking 8 minus 1. We are taking 1 minus 8, which we don't have enough to do. So one option is we can regroup our whole number. And what I mean by regrouping our whole number is I need more tenths up here somewhere, and I have to get more tenths from something. So I'm going to take one of my whole items, and I'm going to take that whole item and I'm going to replace it or trade it in for 10 tenths. That is an even trade. One whole trading in for 10 tenths. I'm exchanging 1 for 1. So now up here at the top, I now have 11 tenths. I have 2 and 11 tenths, which is still the exact same thing as 3 and 1/10, because this improper fraction right here makes up that other whole and the 1/10. So now I have 2 and 11/10. That is now enough to subtract 8/10. So 11 minus 8 is 3. My denominator stays the same. And 2 minus 1 is 1. So my answer is 1 and 3/10. Okay. Another way that you can do this is if when you are subtracting mixed numbers and you don't have enough on the top to subtract, another option is to convert both of your mixed numbers into improper fractions. And so let me add a new page. All right, we had 3 and 1/10 minus 1 and 8/10. Okay, so what I can do, so as soon as I realize that I don't have enough up here at the top, what I can do is I can convert both of these mixed numbers into improper fractions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 10 times 3, which is 30, 10 times 3, 30, plus 1 is 31. So that gives me 31/10, okay? And 10 times 1 is 10, plus 8 is 18/10, okay? So now I'm going to take 31 minus 18, and that is going to leave me with 13/10. Okay, so now I have to convert 13/10 into a mixed number, and therefore I would have 1 and 3/10. And that is the same thing that we got in the first example. Okay, so at any point you can go back and rewatch this. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to the 2 questions that you had for Tuesday. Okay, so this first question, when combined, my dog and cat weigh 25 and 7/10 pounds. Together, my dog weighs 13 and 4/5 pounds. How much does my cat weigh? Okay, sometimes when I have a word problem, I substitute my numbers for simpler numbers to kind of figure out like what I need to do. So instead of having all these mixed numbers, for example, if my dog and cat weighed 20 pounds altogether, okay, and my dog weighed 13 pounds, then how much does my cat weigh? Okay, so altogether they weigh 20. If this is my dog, then how much does the cat weigh? Well, I know that 13 plus 7 is 20, or I know that 20 minus 13 is 7, okay? So what I need to do is I'm going to need to take the total. You cannot have a piece of that paper. Sorry. Sorry, that was my child. So what I need to do is I need to take 25 and 7/10, which is the total that the 2 animals weigh together, and I need to subtract the weight of the dog. And that's going to leave me the weight of the cat. So I've got unlike denominators, 5 and 10. If I count by fives, I do say 10. So 10 is a multiple, so I can keep that the same, and I can change 4/5 to tenths. So how do I get from 5 to 10 by way of multiplication? Well, I multiply by 2. So I need to do the same for the top, and that's going to give me 8/10. And right off the bat, just like the last problem that we did, I do not have enough tenths to take away 8. I only have 7. So I can either convert these into improper fractions, which I'm not going to do because these whole numbers are kind of large. So instead, I'm going to regroup. So I need some more tenths up here. And where am I going to get them from? From this whole number. So I'm taking one whole and replacing it with one whole in the form of 10/10. And so now I have a total of 17/10 up at the top. So I have 24 and 17 tenths, which is identical or equivalent to 25 and 7 tenths. And so now I have enough tenths to subtract. So 17 minus 8 is 9. And 24 minus 13 is 11. And so that would be my answer. So I have 11 and 9 tenths for the weight of the cat. Okay, it's a pretty fat cat. All right, not rat, cat. Okay, in the next problem, there were 11 pizzas ordered for my birthday party. The boys ate 5 and 5/8 pizzas. Hold on, what are you looking for? You need a stapler? Here. You're welcome. Let me start over. There were 11 pizzas ordered for my birthday party. The boys ate 5 and 5/8 pizzas, and the girls ate 3.5 pizzas. How many pizzas were left over? So I had 11 whole pizzas. The boys ate some, and the girls ate some. So how much do I have left over? Well, I could either do two subtractions, or I can look at it this way. I have 11 pizzas, and I need to take away the total amount that was eaten. So the total amount that is eaten is 5 and 5/8 and 3.5. So the reason why I put parentheses around this, and if you remember order of operations, I am going to figure out how much of the pizza was eaten first. So I'm going to add 5 and 5/8 and 3.5. So 5 and 5/8 plus 3 and 1/2. And I have unlike denominators, and my smallest denominator is a 2. So if I count by twos, I will say 8. So that means 8 is a multiple of 2. And so that's going to be my common denominator. So I'm going to change halves to eighths. And 2 times 4 is 8. So 1 times 4 is 4. And so now all I have to do is add them together. So I've got 5/8 plus 4/8, which is 9/8. And 5 plus 3 is 8. So they have eaten 8 and 9/8 of the pizzas. However, I have this pesky improper fraction right there. So 9/8 as a mixed number is going to be 1 and 1/8, which I need to combine with the 8 whole. So all together, they have eaten 9 and 1/8 of the pizza. Okay, so 9 and 1/8 is what they have eaten so far. All right, so I need to figure out how much is left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to the left side of my screen. So I have 11 whole pizzas. I had 11 whole pizzas to start with, and the boys and girls ate a total of 9 and 1/8 of pizza. Okay, so here's another one of those problems where I don't have enough to take away the fractional part. I don't even have a fractional part up here. So there's a couple of different things that we can think about. We can look at 9 and 1/8 and kind of work our way up to 11. So if I had 9 and 1/8 of pizza, how much would I need to get up to 10? And I would need 7/8 to get back up to 10 whole pizzas. And then from 10 to 11, that would be another whole pizza. So I could think of it that way and kind of count up, which would end up being I would have 1 and 7/8 pizza left over. Or I can go ahead and do the regrouping strategy again. And I can take one whole pizza and trade that in for or trade it in or replace it with a whole. So I'm taking the whole and replacing it with a whole. So I'm not really changing how much I had to begin with. So 10, I lost my train of thought. So I would take one whole from 11. I would take one whole, okay? So that would leave me with 10, and I would replace that whole with another whole equal to 8/8. And why am I choosing 8/8 as my whole fraction? I don't know why I wrote my 8 like that either. I am choosing 8/8 because that's what my denominator is. Okay, so if you think about it, 10 and 8/8 is 11 whole pizzas. So now I can say 8/8 minus 1/8 is 7/8, and 10 minus 9 is 1. Okay, so hopefully that clears some things up. The best way to start understanding this or becoming familiar with this is just to keep practicing. So if you have questions, you can always email me, and I will catch you on the flip side.